people of Israel don't pay any attention to Moses. Well, you have to understand why that's the situation. When you are filled with expectation, you think something good is about to happen. You have had certain promises made to you, and you begin to focus and believe and have hope in that promise. And you were told that the God of your fathers has sent me, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And he said, go unto Pharaoh and tell Pharaoh to let my people go. Well, that sounds pretty impressive. And that the God of your forefathers was there, and he was going to take care of this business. And what else could Pharaoh do but say yes and acquiesce? Well, Brother Aaron and Brother Moses went to Pharaoh, and as they went to Pharaoh, they said, the God of the Hebrews has said, let the Hebrews go. And Pharaoh said, you know what? I got something for y'all. Y'all got too much time on your hands. If you can sit around thinking about going out 3 days journey, oh, that's how it is? That's how much time you get? You know what? I want y'all to continue making them bricks, but don't give them no more straw. You go get your own straw since you got so much doggone time, and go make the bricks. And you know what? The number of the count of them bricks, they better not go down, or we gonna rip that yoke. We gonna rip on that behind. And that was the message Moses brings back. It is not, oh man, God. Pharaoh said, who is God? That I should be mindful of him. So everybody is not always going to respect everything that you do. But don't let that make you take down in who you are, or who you are supposed to be. Because many times people, you know, well, it's so many, we so few, and they will take down, you know, they're back up. Put this ornament on the tree. Well, give me half of it. I just want to get along. The people could not hear. They were told that they were getting ready to be redeemed. That their God, and Moses showed them, I told you last week, some signs. They said, oh Lord, it's happening now. It's on. But the word that came back, it wasn't on. It was worse than it was before they were supposed to be delivered. And many times in life, we don't appreciate when we have a promise of something, of the difficulty that we may have to go through to get there. We want everything instantaneous. No sacrifice, no sweat, no tears. We just want it to happen. We just want it to roll down and fall because we Israel. Sorry. That is not how life happens to work, even when God is on your side and with you. It does not eradicate problematic situations. What it should do is give you the strength to overcome those situations, to persevere, to stay more pressing forward and not to shrink from what the task is. But when God is not deep in your heart, then our faith gets very, very small. And you can get crushed. So that's why in the 6th chapter, when God tells Moses all these good things, I'm God. I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And by my name, they knew me as El Shaddai, not know me. They did not know me. But I want you now, I remember my covenant, and I'm going to keep that covenant, and I want you to go in, and I want you to, I'm going to come down with judgment on Egypt. I want you to know that the God of their fathers is going to bring them out. Moses, if you would notice with me, please, in the 9th verse of the 6th chapter, on page 233. Let's start with 8, because it starts there. Let us read together. And I will bring you unto the land concerning it. I lifted up my hand to give it to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. And I will give it you for a heritage. I am the Lord. Sounds impressive, right? Let's read 9 together, please. I don't hear you. And Moses spoke so unto the children of Israel. But they hearkened not unto Moses, for impatient of spirit and for brutal heart. So they couldn't even hear this new promise. It wasn't happening. It wasn't registered. Because you already gave me one promise and said I was going to be delivered, and here I still am. You promised me that I was going to get that promotion, and it hasn't happened. So I'm not angry. I'm going to quit. Because I didn't get the promotion when I thought I should have gotten it. You thought I was supposed to have so much good stuff, and it didn't happen. So I don't like that. I'm going to leave. I can't hear what you're saying because my spirit is impatient because I didn't get what I thought. We're like that many times in life. They couldn't hear because of being impatient of spirit. And we're like that with each other, aren't we? Husbands are like that with their wives, and wives are like that with their husbands, and we are like that with our children. And we especially are like that with each other. Impatient of spirit. That's much better. As the old saying goes, to promise little and do much, as opposed to promising a whole lot and doing absolutely nothing. But your words, if they don't have no weight behind them, you ain't. Rabbi Reuben used to say, man, you ain't nothing but breath in britches. And some wasted breath at that. That's what Rabbi Reuben used to say. No matter what you say, what you promise, you keep promising, you keep falling. You got to get up and prove something. You got to do it. Don't tell me how much you believe in the eternal, and I don't ever see it. I believe it. Well, we have a community here. I'll be stretched out sometimes. Need help. Let me call me. Brother, you all right? I'll be there this week because I know you people will help. Impatience of spirit. You can drive a person and turn a person and make their spirits impatient with you. Particularly when all of your words have no substance. They absolutely lack any type of substance. You just talk to hear yourself talk. You know anybody that nobody believes? If they tell you it's snowing outside and it's 5 degrees below and it's the middle of January, you still going to look for yourself. Because they will say anything. And you know that they will. I had a couple of family members like that. We couldn't believe anything she said, ever. It's bad when your mama don't believe it. But her mother didn't believe it. It's like she just had to. And maybe it was some type of disease or something that they had, but it's just like, life doesn't make sense to her unless she just says something that is an absolute lie. And she wants you to believe it. Well, that's what happens when you invoke impatience of spirit in people. your actions invoke an impatience of spirit. And they don't want to hear what you got to say because they can't listen to what you're saying because they see what you're doing or what you're not doing. So don't be so impressive with a whole lot of words. Be more impressive with the actions that you put down. Impress me with your action. Don't impress me because you can say 3-syllable words. Okay, you know I don't spell that good, so now you go outspell me. But you know you ain't done nothing to me. My grandkids outspelled me. I was trying to spell Negro one time. I said N-E-E. But that's what they hear. Know what, Bob? You got it right. So we have to be very, very patient in what we do and be able to help people get through their impatience of spirit. And the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, 11, go in, speak to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, that he let the children of Israel go out of his land. 12, and Moses spoke before the Lord, saying, how then shall Pharaoh hear me? Who am I, of uncircumcised stock? How? Wait. You sending me over here, and I can't get those that I'm supposed to be representing to even hear me. So how is Pharaoh going to hear me? How is everything outside of my home going to hear me when I don't even have the faith of those who are within my home? How are those outside going to know that this way of life is a way of life, and I can't even get family members to adhere to this way of life? How dear can it be to me? And I can't make it dear to those I'm around, but I'm supposed to give and make everybody else see it and believe it and understand it? No, perhaps I haven't demonstrated to you correctly so that you might be willing to follow. Perhaps sometimes you see me so Israelite over here, and then another time I'm way over on this side of the street. I'm inconsistent. And when there is no consistency, doubt has to creep in. Well, you said you're going to do it. Well, you know, 3 times you said you were going to stop and get them. 3 times you forgot. So when you tell me you're going to stop and get them the 4th time, you think I'm going to sit there and wait for you to come and sit down? No, I'm going to go feed myself. And you can walk in the door whatever you want to walk in the door. It don't mean anything anymore. You want what you say to mean something all the time, but you have never put anything behind it. And that doesn't work. Doesn't fit. Doesn't measure up. Moses says, I have uncircumcised lips. So Moses is simply saying these words. I have an issue with my speaking. And so sometimes you have to be careful. Moses was sent by God. This is a powerful, just listen to this. He is sent by God. God sent him. God gave him the sign. He got up there and he talked like, well, look, remember that movie with Bubba? What's the name of the Forrest Gump? And Bubba wanted to be a shrimp. He knew everything about shrimp. But Bubba had a problem. He was over-lipped. And so, as he's being over-lipped, when he spoke, he sounded a little funny. Okay? Moses is saying that I have uncircumcised lips. In other words, I got a problem. I got a speech impediment. So here God chose him to do a job, and Pharaoh, you're still qualified for this job, but what I need to do is give you someone that will be a mouthpiece for you. Someone who doesn't stutter. Someone who can go and speak straightforward. So I will speak to you. You will speak to Aaron, and Aaron will speak directly to Pharaoh. And you better be like God to Pharaoh. Because you just don't stand there. Aaron's already going to have things that you've given him to say. He's going to go forth now. So in other words, you don't have to do it all. You don't have to do it all. Everything. You do everything and can't actually do anything. You mess up so much stuff because you won't let go. And here Moses is chosen by God, called by God, saw the burning bush, had to take off his shoes, and he realized that he didn't have all that he needed to go forward. Well, you might say, well, Rabbi, why didn't God just touch his lips and correct his speech and enable him to speak without stuttering anymore? I mean, after all, they sent Gail Sayers to school to help him with his speaking ability, his speech ability. They sent Refrigerator Perry to school to help him with that ability to speak more plainly and with understanding. Certainly God couldn't touch Moses. The eternal one of Israel, who can do anything, yet there are things that God won't do just to show us, just to show you and I, that we don't have to try to do it all. But don't ask me to divide the labor with you and you never show up for work. But I do see you on payday. You wasn't there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. As they said in that football life concerning Vince Lombardi, there was on time and then there was Lombardi time. And so the meeting was supposed to start at 5 o'clock in the morning. To be on Lombardi time, you had to be at the meeting in your seat 15 minutes before the starting time of the meeting. Otherwise, you were late. You were late. So we have an obligation, a responsibility. We have an obligation to be doing our prayers at a particular time, because after that particular time, then the offering time has ceased. And it don't happen to operate on Hebrew time. It's the time set by the Eternal to offer up our sacrifices. Not any old time. It's not whenever I want to roll over out the bed. I keep telling y'all, some of us got some of this stuff in us. It's way, way down. You don't think you got it. You think you clean it. You really think I'm born this way. Oh, yeah, oh well, maybe so. Maybe so, but let me tell you what's the very good. So to get over impatience of spirit, to get over this idea of thinking that we have to do it all, we have to learn to rely on each other. But for that, we have to be reliable. We have to be accountable. Without accountability, there is no reliability. Just say, oh, yeah. And you turn around and nobody's there. Nobody's there. So if the time is 6, let it be 6. Then we should be there at 5:45. The time is 10, let it be 10, and we should be there at 9:45. Not 10:05, not 10:10, not 10:15, to get out of Negro time, which is 20 minutes late. And Jewish time, which is 30 minutes late. And some of us take the 20 minutes from Negro time and the 30 minutes from Jewish time and add them together, and we'd be about an hour late. Because we are Jewish and Negro. So we get the dispensation of using both of those times. So we can combine that. So whenever we get there, it's all right. Noah's Ark can't float without me. So let's look at it a little different. And let us approach it a little different. I oftentimes wonder, I want to, when I get this thing back, say, how often are you late for work? Are you as late for work as you are coming up in God's house? Every week. I mean, everybody must be on welfare something. Or SSI something. Well, we couldn't work because we got me. I can't get there. This is my situation. I hated to let people go. But every now and then you just have to let people go. And just because they just couldn't do what they were supposed to do. They get there 15 minutes late, but they're the first in line to punch out when it's time to leave. I worked at a factory. I worked at General Motors to build locomotives. Them guys used to start creeping down toward the time clock 15, 20 minutes before punch out time. And they'd be hiding from the supervisors and the foreman, ducking down, acting like they're doing something. And then, as soon as that bell hit, that bell whistle would blow, they come like little vermin and shoot to that clock to punch out to get out of there. That's not the way they come in, though. Give me a cup of coffee. I can't go in there without no coffee. And the supervisor better not say nothing to me. I might best want to go back home. I'm going to hurt this job. Because I'm going back home. I don't think so. I really, really don't think so. It is about responsibility. It is about being responsible. But then once we show and demonstrate responsibility, then others will heed what we say and understand that when we say something that we're very serious about what we say. That we're just not talking to hear ourselves. Impatience of spirit. Let us not be the cause of others gain impatience of spirit. Having uncircumcised lips. Let us not be afraid to have the message, but also share the responsibility. Because I declare, if I try to move this move by myself, I can probably move it. But I guarantee you, if I ask Rabbi Mikhael to help me, I can move it easy. And then if I ask Jakis and Ben Mikhael to come up and help the two of us, we can move it even easier. And if I ask two more people to come up after the four of us are on it, and the six of us moving it, we can move it even easier. And if I ask two more people to come up, and we have 8 people coming up to move this stand, we can throw it through this roof. You don't have to do it all. But we all have a part to do. But the critical piece for us to ascertain redemption from Egypt, not ancient, forget that story. You're in Egypt now. Not Americans' Egypt. You're in your own Egypt. You've made your own Egypt. The Egypt of my Hebrewism is this type of ism. And not your type of ism. You made your own Egypt. We make our own Egypts every day. Get out of Egypt. talking about antiquity. I'm talking about 2015. January the 17th. That's the day I'm talking about, you in Egypt. Not this broad Egypt. Not the place spoken about in Deuteronomy 28. You bring yourself on the ships that float on the rivers of your heart, and you stay in Egypt. You will not seek true freedom. Because free people speak what they mean, and they mean what they say. Because that's how you build. You can't build any other way. You cannot build on sometimeism. It must be total and absolute commitment. That you get out of your own Egypt. Out of the Egypt in the recesses